Aloha, church family. I'm coming to you here on Saturday morning, and it's good to be able to discuss some things with you. First, I want to thank every one of you for your prayers and your support during this COVID-19 crisis. You've been so gracious, and I know this has put much stress on everyone's life, and I just appreciate how you have been gracious and understanding during this time. I want to say especially mahalo for living in gentle judgment against others during this time. Remember, no one wants to see anyone sick, and even to suggest such a thing would be wrong, wrong, wrong. And even to point a finger at someone as being negligent is a very serious, serious thing, because we know most everyone, and I know for sure here at Ko'olau Baptist, everyone wants everybody to be healthy and safe. And so as we face these difficult times, let's remember to face it with sweet harmony with one another and to work through these problems together. Yesterday, a news article came out about a church in Waipahu, I believe it was, that had several members that were infected. It was reported that in some way, perhaps the church was lax in following the health guidelines about church meetings. I don't know about that. There's many of the facts that I don't know. I don't know the details. And let me just say, it would be wrong for me to pass judgment against any church in these kind of circumstances when I do not know the details. And so I, for one, am not going to jump to conclusions about that church. At the same time, the safety of my congregation, my beloved Ko'olau Baptist Church family, is of great concern to me. I really want everyone to be healthy, and I know that there's bound to be concern, especially with this latest news story about the policies of our church regarding this COVID crisis. Let me say that I also know that no one individual or any organization has been able to follow these guidelines 100%. And the reason we've not been able to, or a restaurant's not been able to, or the supermarket or Walmart or anyone has been able to follow these guidelines 100% is that they are virtually impossible to keep. When you just begin to think about what is being asked, that became clear with our state teachers who were given some guidelines on what to do to reopen schools, and they went to their classrooms, they tried to work out the logistics, and they saw it was virtually impossible. Also, there's conflicting reports about what the guidelines are. There's a difference between CDC and what the governor may say, what the mayor may say, what bureaucrats may say. I have a pastor friend who was wondering, with a staff member who was picking up a loved one, would that staff member also need to be quarantined with the person that they were picking up for 2 weeks? This pastor called the State Department of Transportation. They said, oh yes, they must be quarantined with their loved one. They also called the State Health Department. Oh yes, they must be quarantined with the person they're picking up. But then the requirements in writing, the guidelines in writing were brought to the pastor, and it was discovered that in writing that wasn't a requirement. Now that pastor did not do anything wrong. He was just doing the best he could when he asked his staff member to stay at home with this loved one that came in from the mainland. He made no mistake. He was just doing the best he could. But it does illustrate the kind of conflicting information that we do have. And it goes on and on and on, and you're aware of that. I believe at Ko'olau Baptist Church that we have made good efforts to follow the guidelines as best we could. But this news story that came out yesterday, true or false, seems to indicate that we need to tighten up on some of our procedures, and also maybe rethink a few things as we move forward. I have asked our deacons to be in conversation with our members and to gather information and feelings and opinions and ideas, and they've been doing that, and I'm thankful for that. And I want to say how I'm thankful for your opinions and your ideas and your thoughts as we try to work our way through this situation. I'm very, very thankful. But I do believe that maybe there's some things that we need to tighten up on. And so starting tomorrow, we're going to require masks for everyone except for those that are exempt for health purposes, and then also for those that will either be singing songs or preaching in order to make our communication effective. Now, when we're not singing or we're not preaching, we'll also be donning a mask. And so I'm asking everyone to cooperate with this. And tomorrow in our church services, please don a mask. We have plenty of masks available. I want to thank Brother Walter Kishimoto for donating these paper masks. We have a great supply of those if you don't have a material mask. If you forget yours, we have those out here in the front. Also asking everyone to remember to wash their hands, to use the sanitizer frequently, and as much as possible sit together with families and to try to maintain distances as much as possible. And we'll work forward as we work together, as we move forward on these things and continue discussions. One of the discussions that we're having is, should we move to going to 2 services, one early service, then our Sunday school, and then our service Sunday morning. So far, it looks like Sunday night and Wednesday night, because of other things going on, we're doing okay in terms of spacing, but we may have to look at our Sunday morning spacing, and we'll let you know more about that over this next week. But for tomorrow, let's remember to wear our mask. I know they're uncomfortable, and certainly if it's a threat to your health and you know the reason why, we know that. And certainly we know the little babies are not required to wear masks. And so for those that have been specified to be an exemption, we understand. But everyone else, let's try to work together on wearing those masks. I just want you to know that I love you all, and I just hope that we can continue to be faithful in God's work during this time. Let's continue to witness. Let's continue to pray. Let's continue our giving because the expenses go on. And let's just not let this COVID thing, and so far it hasn't, praise the Lord, and moving forward, we don't want it in any way to drive a wedge between any of our members. We have a mantle of charity that falls over our entire congregation during this time as we're united in love to work our way through this. And so we're all in it together, and we're working together to do the best we can for the Lord and for one another. And we want one another to stay healthy, and we also want to see God's work move forward. So thank you for your attention, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Sunday school and church tomorrow. Aloha.